wind is kind of whistling out there this morning. 44 degrees outdoors, 59 indoors. Yeah, we turned the heat on upstairs anyway. What is going on? Why is it so windy? There's not that many isobars over New England this morning. 3 isobars. Pretty good low to our north. Not much of a high pressure system anywhere. Way off to the southwest. A cloud out there. I can get away from the wind. Mount Washington this morning, it's only 30 miles an hour, but it's 14 degrees up there. It's a cold air mass. Why is it so windy? Watch out for those 2 crows, Rex. Arr, arr. It's mating season. They were just doing what the kids do down there by the jetty. That's funny. It's windy because, down near the ground, because it's aligned. I had to use the vertical azimuth display from Burlington, Vermont, because there's some precipitation there. And this only works where you have precipitation. But you can see it's a westerly wind all the way up to 10,000 feet. Maybe a little southwest near the ground. In Burlington, not that strong near the ground. The more hills and valleys you have, the more friction there is, and you get less wind. But if you have flats like Boston Harbor, you're going to be more windy, less friction, so that wind mixes down a little bit more readily. Snowing this morning, Sugar Bush, day 2 in a row. Snow in New England. It's a different weather pattern this week. Look at this beautiful blue sky. That way. Not sure what that cloud is out there. Not sure. We had a bit of a cold air front went by last night, responsible for those upslope snows and that 14 in Mount Washington. And there's cold out west, too. A lot of cold on the map. Twin Falls, Idaho this morning is record, 24 or so. Large and in charge is a strong high-pressure system on the west side of Hudson Bay, Canada, where it's 1 below zero this morning. A little bit of that cold and that high-pressure system is going to break off and kind of sneak underneath that old Wisconsin snowstorm, which is now moving into northern Quebec, and there's a block in the atmosphere. And so what's going to happen, the weather systems are going to kind of slow down here in the northeast. So the cold, which is going to release a little bit tomorrow, I think less windy, temperatures with a bright sky, should be back in the 60s in Boston. And then a bit of a competition going on for Friday. I see that the television meteorologists are going for about 70 on Friday. This now armchair hobby meteorologist is going for maybe 60. A lot of the guidance is in the 50s. I think the problem is with the blocking in the atmosphere, a warm front, there it is south of us on Friday morning, is not going to make it to our north, with a really potent negative North Atlantic oscillation. Let's look at the North America synoptic pattern, and you can see the low pressure systems over the Atlantic are pretty strong, but they're kind of going around in circles. And you see the lows coming at the northeast. It looks like kind of one wants to break right through here on Sunday and head to the north, kind of cutting through cold air damming, which I think is going to be in place this weekend. So it's not a really easy forecast. Now, based on this blue sky right now, and the fact that it's blue all that way out there, I think we're going to have fewer instability cumulus in southern New England today. It's a drier air mass. You can tell by just looking at the sky. Having to water by hand the peas and the lettuce. Oh, let's do a little plantology too. I want to do that. See this rose? Looks kind of dead there, but there's life coming out of it there. So that just needs a good pruning. But this rose over here, this rose I don't think is going to make it. I don't see any green. I'm going to give it a little more time. So I think this one succumbed to that February 3rd, 10 below zero. You can see because the roots were exposed more here. So that rose, it was one of my favorites too. Didn't make it. 43 degrees down here, T-Rex. But the hydrangea's doing fine. Yeah, mixing forecasting and gardening here together. Really hoping for some rain nothing yesterday. I think there was a raindrop or two, some virga. The rescue garden doing fine. This hydrangea did fine. That's okay. What's that? Some kind of lily. And then I worked on the peony yesterday. So one corner at a time. Oh, beautiful. These are going to be gorgeous. I haven't worked on the peony in quite a while. These also came from a rescue garden. I don't buy many plants from the store. So I'm going to take this is my Yankee pile over here. And these cages are going to go on the peonies because, you know, you got to cage up your peonies. Is it going to rain? Yes, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. In my J blog yesterday, I said the rain might hold off until Sunday night and Monday. Well, the Euro has said, not so fast, Tim. This front, another sort of negative tilt trough coming at us, this time on a Sunday instead of a Monday. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to stay mostly dry and bright here. 60s tomorrow, probably only 60 on Friday, if that. And then the clouds come in. And now we have a warm front stuck south of New England. On Saturday, wind out of the east, and it's kind of chilly, with dry, I think. Maybe some breaks of sun. Probably in the 50s. And then Sunday, it looks like a strip of rain comes in here. It looks like some pretty heavy rain. There is a bit of a tropical connection. We're going to have both a warm front and a cold front, sort of triple point coming at us. Low pressure goes to our west, so it's not going to be cold enough for snow anywhere in New England. But it's going to be a chilly rain, I think, and we may end up with appreciable amounts. And then that negative North Atlantic oscillation really kicks in next week. We're going to have colder air settling in here. You can tell by the Boston 14-day. The temperatures there are only in the 50s all next week, low in the 40s, but there are a lot of raindrops on there. And way out there next weekend, looks like the block really sets up, and we may have rain changing to snow in our higher elevations next weekend. This is pushing late April almost into May. We talked about that with the record cold in Alaska from 1977, and some of that may release and come our way. So we're tending to get colder instead of warmer. Scattered all over the place here. Why don't I leave you with a time lapse of yesterday, April being April. Instability in the atmosphere, that is when the sun comes up, heats up the land, it's cold aloft. That warmer air rises, cools, and condenses. And this is what happens. Blue sky turns gray with cold air advection from the west-southwest. I'll let this play out and let you go before 8 minutes today. Can't wait to see what happens today.